If I can do this, I can do anything. And it is so, so true. I know in my own experience, as far as the rehabilitation, I had been on my back for 6 months and had 7 operations, and I was really feeling frustrated and confined. And suddenly, these guys got me out on the slopes, and I was moving down the slopes with a freedom that I hadn't felt in months.
The theme of National Handicap Sports is if I can do this, I can do anything. Watching these handicapped athletes race down the Colorado ski slopes will convince anyone that they indeed can do anything they put their minds to. I'm Brian Patrick, and we'll bring you the excitement of the Chapstick Challenge for disabled skiers this week on For Veterans Only.
For Veterans Only is made possible by a grant from the U.S. Department of Labor, Veterans Employment and Training Service, Washington, D.C. Additional funding has also been provided by the Commonwealth of Kentucky Cabinet for Human Resources, by AMVETS, a national veterans service organization, and by the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans. The producers thank this station and other public television stations for their assistance in making this program available. For Veterans Only is also telecast by the Armed Forces Radio and Television Service for the benefit of the men and women serving on active duty in our armed forces at home and abroad.
Happy holidays from Breckenridge, Colorado, nestled in the Rocky Mountains and home of the Chapstick Challenge for disabled skiers. This event is one of many held across the country that demonstrates how far handicap sports have come, thanks in large part to the vision and the hard work of America's veterans. Some of the best handicapped skiers in the world came to Breckenridge for the Chapstick Challenge, but regardless of their skills, each one of these athletes is a champion. They have challenged themselves to do something many thought they could never do. While this event is for all disabled skiers, not just veterans, it is sponsored in part by the Disabled American Veterans and the Paralyzed Veterans of America. Veterans have made this happen through their involvement with National Handicap Sports, which conducts this event and others like it around the country.
Vietnam veterans started this organization and hold probably just about every key leadership position in it. And because we were here at a time and in a group, we started a lot of the sports for disabled that exist in this country some 20 years ago, and have spearheaded most of the movements.
Vietnam veterans primarily came back, and they were skiers before they went to Vietnam. They came back and they may have a limb missing here or there, or blindness, and they still wanted to ski, and they really have taken it upon themselves to organize this sport. And once again, they had the vision that, yeah, what's great for disabled veterans is also great for the rest of the disabled population.
I served in the 10th Mountain Division during World War II, and one of my fellow soldiers was a guy by the name of Jim Winters. And about the time the Vietnam War came to a close, Jim was teaching skiing in the Donner Summit. And he started bringing many of these disabled Vietnam-era veterans out of the VA hospitals on the West Coast and teaching them skiing.
Because a lot of us were jocks before we went in the service, and we wanted to continue that aggressive physical activity, we went out and found ways to do it. And so we find a lot of veterans very, very active in the organization.
Rocky Mountain skiing is a physical challenge, and it's an uplifting experience for those of us on 2 strong legs and 2 good arms. National Handicap Sports is letting more and more people overcome disabilities to experience that thrill for themselves.
I've done a lot of sports, and I can't think of any besides polo that I haven't done. But this is the sport that gets the farthest away from the disability.
A long-standing member of the U.S. Disabled Ski Team, bronze medal, Mr. Peter Axelson.
You need recreation in your life, whether it's an active thing that you do or a passive activity. You have to have recreation activity in your life because that's what gives you the inspiration and motivation to keep going, go to work, and to do all those other things.
It's inspiring to see athletes who are disabled accomplish so much. Their disabilities have not slowed them down at all, and on a personal level, it's very inspiring.
These veterans provide special inspiration to young people with disabilities, helping them realize that they can enjoy the thrill of physical recreation and competition.
We have disabled people running the organization, and it's a self-help group. And that role model is extremely important. The child, the young person realizes that they can be successful, they can be capable, and they have something to look up to, something to aspire to, someone to aspire to with the athletes now that are coming out of our disabled sports programs. And it's really a tremendous boost to them because they can strive now to be some of the top athletes in the world.
Some special veterans from the Soviet Union accepted an invitation to discover handicap sports American style.
It's been a real pleasure for us to meet these fellows and compare notes in rough ways in Pidgin English and Pidgin Russian and communicate as, in a way, we're brothers. We've been through an experience that's unique, and we've shared the experience of skiing together, and that's really great.
Chapstick Challenge sponsor United Airlines played a key role in getting the Soviet veterans here.
People at our corporate headquarters worked with British Airways to fly the participants from Moscow to Chicago, and then United Airlines transported them to Denver.
The special efforts of many people are responsible for the success of events like the Chapstick Challenge. The participants come for a lot of reasons: to learn, to teach, to train, to compete.
The minute I start thinking about trying to beat somebody, I'm there to try and ski the very best I can and to develop the technology to ski the best I can. And doing that with other teammates that are all going after the same thing, working together and supporting each other and pointing out where we need to work on our turns and where we need to get faster, that's what it's all about. It's really exciting to be able to work together as a team.
Like Pete Axelson, many of these racers are members of the U.S. Disabled Ski Team, hoping to qualify for the Nationals. While winning isn't everything, the thrill of victory is sweet.
And in first place, and the gold medal, former commander of the Disabled American Veterans, skiing out of that winter Sports Haven, Arkansas, Mr. Chad Colley. I think his home ski area is Stone Pass, Arkansas, I'm not sure.
Winning the Chapstick Challenge was a special victory for Chad Colley, who is a special veteran and a really special person. Jim Clay caught up with him after a morning of skiing on fresh powder at Breckenridge.
Chad Colley is the past national commander for the Disabled American Veterans in 1985, now more prominent in the skiing world. He's a member of the 101st Airborne, and while he was in combat, stepped on a landmine. He lost both legs and an arm. And what we'd like to know, Chad, is how did you get motivated to become a skier?
Well, I tell you, I was put in a position where I couldn't say no. You know, wheelchairs and snow don't mix. So I thought, if there's anything I don't need, it's another hassle in my life. But Dick Wilson, a former mountain trooper, 10th Mountain Division from World War II, invited me to represent the DAV in Squaw Valley, California in 1983. And I saw it, and they got me involved in it, and I just loved it. And that's been my favorite single pastime, my favorite recreational sport since that time.
Now, did you have some real fear about getting out on skis when you first started out?
When the first few days, I looked at people down at the bottom of the hill, and they were laughing and milling about and seemed oblivious to the danger of me being uphill from them and out of control. At least I thought that. So once I learned to control the speed, and then the rest of it became much more enjoyable, and I didn't fear that I was going to hurt myself or someone else.
Through your career as a skier, you have become a member of the United States Olympic Handicap Ski Team. How did you get involved with that, and what are some of the events you're going to be participating in?
Well, I finally got good enough that they had asked me to join the team and practice with the team. And the principal event this year, this ski season that we'll be competing in as a team, is an international competition with all the disabled skiers from all around the world at Winter Park, Colorado at the end of February 1990. And that's an exciting thing when you compete with the foreign skiers, foreign countries, and it's just a thrill to me. I'm 45 years old. I'm skiing against kids 3 decades younger than I, and it's always an exciting time for me to be able to participate in this way.
What kind of a message do you have for handicapped people in relationship to doing something like this?
Well, the first thing is just exposure. People need to see that it is a possibility and see themselves doing it. Now listen, I've been around it for about 8 years, or been observing for about 8 years, and I still am amazed with what disabled people are able to do skiing. It's phenomenal, and I really get inspired by it, even though I've been involved in it in a pretty personal way. The main thing that people need to do is to come to a learn to ski clinic, such as the ones that's Chapstick is sponsoring, and just try it. They got all the gear, all the instructors, and they'll make it as exciting and as educational as possible. And for some of us, we just can't get enough after that.
Now, when you get up on a hill, way up on top of these mountains, and you start your descent, what does that feel like?
Well, once you become an accomplished skier, it's just great. You love to charge ahead, head right straight down the steepest face. And you also like the looks of approval you get from able-bodied skiers. They look at guys like myself and say, how in the world do they do that? But they don't know that we are athletes, and we do practice, and we've mastered techniques that enable us to challenge steep courses like you find here at Breckenridge.
For a disabled person, maybe skiing is not something for all of them, but what has it done for you as a person and being a handicapped person? What has it done for you?
Well, it's helped complete my rehabilitation. Now, if people saw me 15 years ago, they say, gee, that guy's got it all together. But what they didn't realize, it was things about my personality that I had not really come to grips with, or things about my disability. Skiing allowed me to do something very physical, very active again. Most of what the successes that I joined after I came back from Vietnam were not along the physical sports related fields. I always wanted to be my best, and always was competitive athletically. And somehow I felt that after my disability I just wouldn't be any good, and I didn't think I could handle that. This enabled me. My exposure to skiing has shown me that within my disability I can be competitive, I can be challenged, it can be very rewarding to me. So not only was I able to round myself out as a person again and do things athletically, but I also began to see carryover in other aspects of my life. It made other things more fun and challenging, and it also made me accept my disability in a new and a different way, because I would cut myself absolutely no quarter. I wanted to be the best there was in anything that I did, but there are concessions that now I'm willing to make with my disability that I would not do before I got involved in skiing and sports and the physical aspect.
I know a lot of people would like to know whether or not you were ever on a pair of skis before you became disabled.
I skied probably 3 or 4 days when I was 11 or 12 years old, and that was it.
That was it.
So this was a new experience for me.
Aside from the competition here at this Chapstick Challenge, what does something like this mean to you, Chad Colley?
Well, you know, for a handicapped person that gets around on 4 rubber wheels, this really gives me an opportunity to get away from the concrete and the blacktop. I mean, it is gorgeous here at Breckenridge. The snow, I mean, when you think of the holiday seasons and how to spend them, there can be a better place to do it than here, and I'm really pleased to be here.
Well, we couldn't find a better atmosphere with all this snow coming down, skiers in the background, and all these disabled skiers here competing on the slopes. It's just been a wonderful week. And I'd like to extend to you a very Merry Christmas and a very Happy New Year, and wish you much success in your competition with the U.S. Olympic ski team.
Well, thank you very much.
Hi, this is Airman DeLynn Miller from Cincinnati, Ohio, and I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, my name is Petty Officer Croucher. I'm from Topeka, Kansas, and I wanted to wish everyone back home a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from Keflavik, Iceland.
Hello, my name is Malcolm Rogers. I'm the Senior British Police Officer here on Diego Garcia. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish everybody in the United States a very Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Hi, this is Fireman Walker from down in Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. I'd like to say hello to my parents back in Creedmoor, North Carolina, and Merry Christmas to all the people back in the States from the divers in Sima, Guantanamo Bay.
Veterans interested in starting their own business or expanding an existing business should consider using the services available from SBA, the Small Business Administration. Veterans receive priority consideration for counseling, loans, and loan guarantees. For a free Veterans Handbook on SBA Vet Services, write SBA for Veterans Only, Post Office Box 1777, Louisville, Kentucky 40201. That's SBA for Veterans Only, P.O. Box 1777, Louisville, Kentucky 40201.
The holidays are special for children. This holiday season is very special for some disabled children of Vietnam veterans. With financial help and incentives from the Agent Orange Class Assistance Program and Ronald McDonald Children's Charities, they came to Breckenridge to discover handicap skiing or to improve on their skiing skills. 13-year-old Jeremiah Landreth was born with one leg, and he started skiing 5 years ago.
Mom and Dad got me started because they thought it was really fun, and then I started racing.
Jeremiah juggles his schoolwork around tedious training, but he gets a lot out of skiing.
Just the thrill and having all this training and stuff for free.
Sharing the slopes with the U.S. Disabled Ski Team has encouraged this young man to chase his dream.
Be the U.S. Ski Team gets sponsored by a lot of people.
This is the first time skiing for 10-year-old Jeremy Hudson, who is paralyzed from the arms down with spina bifida. But he is no stranger to handicap sports.
Play football at school, basketball at school, and tennis, and I'm thinking of trying a lot of other sports.
Jeremy wants to learn to ski for the obvious reason.
Just for the fun of it.
What made you decide to try to ski?
Well, my dad, Jim Hudson, he works for the Agent Orange Class Assistance Program, and he told me about the event, and that's when I decided to try it. And ever since I got down here, it's been a lot of fun.
He too is inspired by the fine athletes competing in the Chapstick Challenge, and he hopes to try racing someday himself.
Yeah, it builds up your muscle strength, and it's really a lot of fun. You should come out and try it.
Jeremy's dad is excited about the role models his son has met at Breckenridge.
He's seeing adults, teenagers, young people with all kinds of disabilities doing things that most able-bodied people wouldn't take the risk to do, and I think that's terrific. Unfortunately, you don't see that many role models in, for example, the school districts. Very few teachers have disabilities, very few administrators, very few politicians, and it's great to come out here and see people doing things with their lives, and I think that's terrific for him.
This really touches my heart. It really does, and it makes my job so much more pleasurable when I go back to Washington and we start making decisions about serving kids and serving vets. It's really good to feel that we're having some positive effect and to be able to talk to people. I mean, what we are about is individuals, helping individual human beings. And if there's a legacy out of this program, I hope that's it, that we're able to establish a permanent community presence for Vietnam veterans and their families.
Ginger Lane, representing Ronald McDonald Children's Charities, has more than a business interest in this event. A skiing accident 6 years ago left her a quadriplegic. She understands how handicapped kids who are always told they're different can really enjoy skiing.
When they have the chance to ski or to participate in some kind of sport, they see that they're not different. They may have to do things a little bit differently, but when they're there with their non-disabled peers and they're all having fun together, it's a tremendously uplifting kind of experience for them.
And while she admires accomplished handicapped athletes, Ginger believes competition should be kept in perspective.
For those people that, we're sports-minded, and it's great to get back into it. But certainly a disability doesn't mean that you have to work harder than anybody else.
But just have fun, can't you?
Absolutely, you can have fun. You don't have to compete. You don't have to be better than anybody else. You just have to try to do what you wanted to do and enjoy yourself.
Stealing the show with her youthful charm and remarkable abilities was 6-year-old Maggie Schmeichel, who began skiing on one leg when she was barely 4 years old.
We went out, I set her on the snow and gave her a push and told her to follow me. That's all it took. She started making turns and just stood right up and came right down the hill. I mean, she didn't even fall down when I set her up. I just stood her on the snow and gave her a little push, and away she went. She's aggressive. She goes at it and just tackles everything. She's a gung-ho kid anyhow, and to see her out there just tearing a hill up and having a good time, and I've got pictures of her with her ponytail flying back and a smile on her face. It's exciting.
Your coach tells me that you have a magic word. What is it?
Yahoser.
What does that mean?
It means we're having fun.
It does. That's good. So when do you yell that?
Well, when we're going down the slopes and I have really fun.
Maggie's skiing also got her dad, a disabled Vietnam veteran, out on the slopes.
At first she kind of fell a lot and stuff like that, so I would go up behind her and kind of help out with the instructors and stuff. And I found it to be a really great sport too, so we've kind of incorporated it into our family now.
It got him out, to do something, and not feel sorry for him, which, a lot of problems with Vietnam veterans, today and stuff, which he has a lot of problems, but kind of got him out to do something, like a hobby or recreation. Maggie's got him out to do more, let's say.
Children are children. They'll do anything anyhow. They'll try anything you set before them. But it's the parents that are a little inhibited. And it helps get the parents motivated because they figure, well, this child is disabled, may or may not be able to do something. And most times they're told that the children, because they're crippled, they can't do this and they can't do that. And with that, the parent says, okay, and they just let them sit and don't do a lot. With the funding that Agent Orange organization is putting forward, it's getting the parents motivated to get the children out to do something.
Kind of let them go and if they want to do something, even if you're not involved in it, get them involved in it, because we weren't involved in skiing until Maggie was. So even if you're not, involved in a sport and they're able to participate in it, like with the Agent Orange program that we let her go, if there's things available, recreation things available to get them involved.
This little girl is not only having a lot of fun for herself, her skiing and her spirit spread the joy of the holiday season to those around her.
And sometimes we go to the geriatric ward in the VA in Vancouver, Washington, and she cheers up the old veterans that have lost a limb or are down, and she hops in there and cheers them up and stuff, so it gets her out a lot more.
The smile, we got a magic word, it's called Yahoser. And she'll, I'll ask her what the magic word is, and she'll shout out, Yahoser, she's going down the hill, and this is a big grin on her face, and it's just, it gets my heart going. I get excited just to see her skiing and having fun.
Yahoser.
Hi, my name is Sergeant Sanchez from Lake Zurich, Illinois. I want to wish everybody a happy holidays from Guantanamo Bay, Cuba.
Hi, I'm Sergeant Patton Michael J. from Chicago, Illinois, and I'd like to wish everyone back home a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm Navy journalist Scott Comstock, and I'd like to wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Hi, I'm RM2 Sherry Williams, and I'm from Camilla, Georgia, and I'd like to wish everyone back home a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Next week on For Veterans Only, Mike Victor looks at 50 years of USO history, entertaining our troops abroad, especially at the holidays. Until then, I'm Brian Patrick. Happy holidays from all of us at For Veterans Only.
A VHS copy of this or any For Veterans Only program is available for $19.95 plus $2.50 postage and handling. To order, send a check or money order to Videotape, care of For Veterans Only, Post Office Box 1777, Louisville, Kentucky 40201. Please specify subject matter and content of the program. A transcript of this program can be obtained by sending $5 to Transcripts, care of For Veterans Only, Post Office Box 1777, Louisville, Kentucky 40201. Please specify subject matter and content of the program. That's Transcripts, care of For Veterans Only, Post Office Box 1777, Louisville, Kentucky 40201.
For Veterans Only is made possible by a grant from the U.S. Department of Labor, Veterans Employment and Training Service, Washington, D.C. Additional funding has also been provided by the Commonwealth of Kentucky Cabinet for Human Resources, by AMVETS, a national veterans service organization, and by the DAV, the Disabled American Veterans. The producers thank this station and other public television stations for their assistance in making this program available. For Veterans Only is also telecast by the Armed Forces Radio and Television Service for the benefit of the men and women serving on active duty in our armed forces at home and abroad.